And then when you finish, unclick, unclick, unclick.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Have
Thank you.
fun.
Thank you, Marek. Okay, let's test this 1, 2. Oh, good sound. Hear me okay?
Yeah.
Cool.
Whoa.
Wow, okay.
Wait, the
Hello?
volume.
Is it too loud for you?
Hello. No, it's perfect.
Yeah?
Hello. Okay.
Okay. Wow. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. Welcome back. Welcome back. Wow. Lots been happening. So I really want to touch on your company again. For those people who hadn't seen the previous broadcast, tell us a little bit more about Khady's Dream.
Khady's Dream is a social enterprise registered as a CIC. For those that don't understand what a CIC is, it's a community interest company. It's heavily based on making change in the community. And what it's about is creating an ecosystem of support services for young people at risk of offending in the UK. So in a nutshell, we like to say, at the moment you have youth offenders team and you have probation. Both of them service help people, but they help you once you get arrested. They will not help you in any format before you get arrested, but we're trying to be that support system before you get arrested, because we feel like it's not fair that a young person needs to get arrested to be able to understand the criminal justice system.
100%. And so tell me, how long has Khady's Dream been running?
Khady's Dream was registered 2023 April, and I think it's the 3rd of May, so just over a year, or just a year.
Okay, cool. So let me just backtrack a little bit. I haven't introduced myself to people who haven't seen the previous broadcast. I'm Lorna Graham. I am a student at the moment at Conel College. So I'm interviewing Kevin today. Right, let's continue. So I want to touch on the foundation of Khady's Dream and what was the background of it? What started it off? What made you go into Khady's Dream? Tell me about that.
I'm not sure. I feel like Khady's Dream started based on what I experienced on my last prison sentence. So I was released out of prison August 2022. During that sentence, I got a 14-month sentence for Class B. And quite early in the sentence, at the beginning, my mum turned ill. And it was a situation where I didn't quite understand why she got ill. Is it because I'm in prison? Is it because something else happened? And my little sister quickly told me it's because due to stress. And that affected me heavily. It took me to a dark place, and it took a while for me to understand, why is my mum stressed? Like, this is the 4th time I've been in prison. I've done numerous of sentences before that, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. She's never been stressed. She's never got ill. Why at this time? And that led on to me asking my sister, are you sure that is it stress or something? She confirmed that it's stress. She's not well and she's in hospital. So that played on my mind a lot. I was locked in a prison cell and I started to actually question myself. If things take the turn of if things get worse, there's a possibility that my mum could not be here tomorrow and I'm locked in a cell. And that's devastating. But I looked further down the line and thought, hold on. When I was age 13, when I committed my first offence, if I had anyone or a glimpse or a chance or even a quote out there to tell me that there's a possibility that you could be in prison 10 years later and your mum can pass away or be seriously ill, that would have put a pause in my track. Because I feel like at that age, we all love our mums. When you're that 13, 12, you rely on them heavily. And just getting someone to tell me, look, what you're doing now, you might not see it, but if you continue this way, 10 years down the line, you could be in a situation where you're locked in a box and your mum can pass away or your loved ones. So then I started doing researches and understanding, why are there not services out there to show people the reality of the consequences of your choices? We have workshops around knife crime, county line, grooming, but why not something that's actually based on the truth? Why not something that's authentic? Why not something that teaches young people from an early stage another side of things? And that's when I started Khady's Dream.
Wow. So you spoke about your mum and the stress You know, it was just too much for her. And your sister confirmed it was the stress of you being in trouble again. That was too much. I mean, sorry, last time you spoke about the steps that your mum took to try and stop you from getting into trouble. Let's talk about that. Like, you know, you said you went abroad.
Yes. Growing up, I quickly found out that the school system didn't work for me, so I got kicked out of 3 different secondary schools across the boroughs of Camden and Islington. After you get kicked out of secondary school, they send you to a pupil referral unit, and unfortunately, that didn't work out for me. I got sent to 5 different pools in Camden, Islington, even to the extent where they put me in Haringey, and that didn't work out for me. So my mum was running out of options. She loves her son dearly, and she's a single mother. She has to work and keep a roof over her head. So another option was to send me back to West Africa. So she ended up tricking me to going back to Ivory Coast, where I thought I was going to go play football for 2 weeks. She actually forwarded a paper and she put like a title, selected, and she put like false words that I've been selected to go represent England and Ivory Coast. I'll be going for 2 weeks. I should sign here to confirm that I'm happy. And I looked at her, I think, yeah, this seems a bit right. Like, so that's how she got me on the plane. But quickly, once I was there, I quickly understood that I weren't coming back to the UK. So that led me to mental health issues, started being stressed, and eventually I ended up boarding school there for a year, where I was in severe conditions. I was taught discipline, taught respect, taught manners, but also went through a time where I was lonely, depressed, mental health thoughts, and I was very young at that age. So taking someone that's grown in the UK, that are used to technology, everything automatic, and bringing them to a place where everything's 10 years behind was very hard on me. And I feel like, yeah, it was a good place.
Wow. So what you've just described there, you know, your mum, yes, she loved you and she still loves you. She was desperate. You know, a lot of young people don't have a parent to have those options to send them to another continent, right? To try and save them from getting themselves into further trouble, you know. And then obviously the distance, the loneliness, you know, you went through a lot, you know. And the fact that you're here today talking about those experiences is what young people in society need to hear about, you know. The pressures of society, the pressure on the family to make ends meet. And then, you know, if your child gets into trouble, meets the wrong people, and so on and so forth, yeah, the turnaround, it's not always a good turnaround. Some people don't have the parent that's going to take those steps to, you know, try and save their child. You know, certainly through the work that you're doing now, you're meeting different young people, different backgrounds, different experiences, different challenges. So when you go to your workshops, how do you identify what young person needs to be signposts to a different organisation to help them with one specific thing? Or is it one essential thing that stands out when you go to these workshops?
I feel like first thing first, when we go into the workshop, it's young people quickly identify, they quickly see who's real and who's fake. So straight away, they can see who's old, who's coming to here and just giving a lesson based on facts and statistics. And quickly, from the minute I walk in, they know that this is someone that we can relate to. Sometimes it could be as small as my skin colour, what I wear, the way I approach myself, the language I use. It quickly knocks down numerous of barriers. They feel connected. A lot of the time they can say I represent their brother, I could be their cousins, I could be their uncle. I'm relatable. So I feel like that's the first barrier that we get over. Then once I deliver the workshop and I see the content, a lot of it is very relatable. And that's due to me, or my age helps, but also understanding the young people, being around. Being in prison, you are in different prisons where you're always around young people, so you're always around people that are younger than you, and you quickly have to understand their culture as long as yours. So I feel like that makes me very relatable when I'm delivering the workshops. And then because I build a form of relatable and trust, it makes it easy to open up easy for the young person to open up and be like, all right, so we understand, you understand us, that you clearly lived it, you've done the prison system, you've been kicked out of schools, you've even gone abroad, and certain of them have come back and said, even my mum was threatening to send me abroad, but this is you someone that done this, we hear that, and now we're asking for help. What do you suggest for us? And now I've got that responsibility of guiding the young people to the right organisation for long term, because I do not want to give organisation young people that don't understand their needs, because then that would just be a young people putting trust into Khady's dream, but then getting put to another organisation where they don't see no one they can relate to, they can't see no one they can connect with, and then it's just a loose end, because it takes a lot of time and patience for a young person to open up. But the fact that we can do that in a short space of time is very impactful and is very valuable.
Wow, incredible work that you're doing with these young people, you know, and that is so important. Young people need people they can relate to, they can open up to. And do you think that's the disconnect that is actually happening in schools? Because when you see people in authority, like there's a teacher, that young people, well, they might be having an issue with bullying, for example, or someone might be trying to groom them, and they don't actually know that they're actually going through that process, and they've got no one to talk to, and they think, oh my gosh, if I talk to my mum or my dad, are they going to understand? If I go to school and talk to the teacher, are they going to get it? Or they're going to tell me, oh, just get out of the classroom, or sit down, do your work? Or do you think that's what the problem is a disconnect with the young people now? There's so much pressure in society for like league tables in schools, for teachers to get all these pupils through at the end of the day, end of the year, and leave into good jobs in colleges, that often they don't have the time to talk to the young people. Do you think? I think that's 1%?
Yes, I feel that definitely. I feel that with schools, it's very scheduled and it's very timetable based. There's certain curriculum they have to follow, certain lessons, certain learning objective. So there's not much rooms to try anything new. It's very structured. It's been like that for years, so they have to follow. So when a young person is struggling or finding it hard to understand the lesson, they don't have the time, effort, or resources to understand that young person or even find someone that's relatable. They just quickly understand that he's being destructive in lesson, then he needs another way route. Their main focus is that they have 30 pupils. They need 30 of them to get certain grades. They need 30 of them to follow these rules. And as soon as one of them is out and they see it's affecting other people, they need to get rid of him as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. And that's a shame. And that young person might not be bad. He just might not feel the connection because he might not understand. He might not understand. He might not understand the teacher because that teacher might not be a relatable. So instead of kicking them out, just try something new, try a new approach. Let him see someone that's actually relatable and let them some sort of way get through to him. Because there's many ways. I feel like at school, there's still hope with them. They're always 50-50. Quickly saying that this young person destructive and putting them out of the classroom is the easy option. And that option is what they used. That's what they did with me. That's what they do with most of the young people. And I do understand where they're coming from, that they have a responsibility to teach 30 young people. So when one's out of order, they need to deal with it quick and promptly. But also, that's still a young person that's going to feel negative. And if that's not dealt with appropriately through another route of way of education, or it can be another support services, or it can just be as easy as a mentor or someone that looks for them to slow things down for them, like just to be like, yo, do you know what you're doing now? You might not see it, but this is how it's effective. And just giving him a second chance to go back into that classroom. Yeah. So I do feel that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what you've literally just said, you've analysed it really, really well. So my question back to you is, do you think that what you're doing with Khady's Dream, do you think that there is scope with support and backing for what you're doing to go into schools more often? Like, rather than a pupil referral unit, say, look, let's contact Kevin at Khady's Dream or one of his staff members to come in and talk to a few of the young people.
Yes, definitely. I feel like that's more than possible, and I feel like that's what's needed, because With that, then it will allow the student or the young person to gain understanding and knowledge of what they're doing now and how it will affect them 10 years down the line. A lot of the time, teachers tell young people, see what you're doing, that's going to affect your DBS and that's going to affect that. But that's not enough. That is just a one sentence. And if the young person questions back that teacher, he does not have the knowledge or understanding, all the lived experience to actually break it down to them. How much it's going to affect your mental health. DBS is one side of thing, but your mental health, how much it's going to affect your loved ones, hidden consequences that they won't see it. So in that space, that young person could then get referred to Khady's Dream, where, as you said, a mentor or a person that's been through that can sit down with that young person and say, look, you see what you're doing in there? That's how it starts. It starts off with you swearing. That's bad language. Bad language in the community, you can swear at the wrong person. Everyone's different. They might not react like your teachers were. In school, you might get sent to detention. On the outside, you might get attacked. Now you're getting attacked. Now you want revenge. There's social media. You'll be put on social media that you've been attacked. You might feel like a victim. Then you're going to look for revenge. Then you quickly find yourself in trouble with the law. Then it just spirals out of control. And
Just
that's
keep
how
going
quick
round
it
and
just
round
goes
and
round and round and round. So letting them see that at an early stage, and that can just start off by them swearing in the classroom. Quickly, the teachers being able to identify that and be like, boom, look, what you're doing now, it's nothing major, it's still manageable, you're still in school, but we think you should just talk to someone from Khady's Dream that's been there, done that. It just gives them another option, and it's not, they're not talking to someone that read a lot of books and think that they gain an understanding. No, you're talking to someone that's lived there, done it, and it still understands the youth culture. And I feel like that's what they need.
Absolutely. They need that reality check because, you know, when I was at school, you know, and when you was at school, you hear someone say, that's the class. I don't want to use the word, so I probably won't use it. Clown.
Yeah.
I've used it. Someone macking about for a laugh. But that's often because they're masking something. Like you said, they're probably struggling with the lesson.
Yeah.
So if they're struggling with the lesson, man, if I disrupt the class, the teacher's not going to know that I'm not doing the work. I don't get it. You know what I mean? So it's quick to identify that and speak to that young person and say, look, no clowning around. The reality is you're having difficulty with that. What's your interest? What are you interested in?
Yes.
Because as you said, the school system is rigid for some, not for others.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you've got someone who's creative, they might not want to be sitting in doing maths and English, even though these are very important subjects. They absolutely need them.
Yeah.
But the reality is a lot of students can't engage with the curriculum. So how do we get them to engage? Find out what their interest is and slow it all down so they can so that they can refocus.
Yes.
You know, and also, you know, we spoke before about financial literacy, which is very important. So if they're not engaging with maths, but mind you, they probably are, but probably think, why am I doing this? A lot of students have said to me, I don't really want to do this subject. It's not important. I'm not going to use it outside. But yes, you do. Depending on what job you go to, you're always going to use maths.
Yeah.
You're always going to use English. You're always going to use science. The sciences, the mobile phones that you're using, science, right? And the physics behind it and so on and so forth. And the understanding about money is equally very important. So one student said to me, they just need to teach us about how do we manage our money better. You know, how do I budget for this? How do I budget for that? I mean, I've seen apps that parents are actually putting on children's phones as a reward, like say, okay, if you do your chores, I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you X amount. But I looked at your website and you're talking about an experience, like when you went into a restaurant and you heard a conversation that a young girl was having. I was like, nah, stop it. Nah. I was like, oh my goodness, really?
That conversation they had scared me a lot. And can I speak about it?
Yeah, please.
I was just in McDonald's after school hours. I think it was around 4:30, and me minding my business, I was just in the queue, and in front of me, not too far, there was two young females. I think they're no more than 11, 12. They were very, very young, and they were loud as usual, so their conversation could be heard. So they were just talking, and I remember one female saying to her friend, "Oh, why don't you like him? Why don't you give him a chance? He's cute." And the other girl, not female girl, replied, "Oh, because he's got no money." So straight away, I was looking at it, and I had to look around as if,
I would have done the same thing.
did anyone else hear that, or do you lot? And after that, the other female replied, "True, you're right." And for them to base their decision on if a young boy has money at that age is scary. Because if that young boy was there himself and heard that conversation, what is that going to do to him? He has two options. He either goes and gets that money, and at the age of 11 and 12, nothing legal, you can't earn money legally. So that starts your career as a career criminal. Or you don't do nothing about it and your confidence is low, and he starts feeling depressed, he starts feeling that he doesn't have enough money. So it's a lose-lose for that young person either way. And I feel like a lot of these things are out there, but parents, these are things that girls won't talk to their parents about, or they won't hear it, they'll miss it. I was just, by luck, able to hear that because I was in the queue. And I feel like that's scary.
That's more than scary, because, I mean, you're judging. I mean, it's like, hold on, you don't like someone because they haven't got the right shoes on, or they're not wearing the right jacket, or they haven't got enough money. So you can't be, it's like they're actually judging this individual and said, "Oh, he's got no money." Like, you're thinking, "Oh, how do they know he's got no money?" Do you know what I mean? Based on what you don't know. Maybe it's just you're wearing school shoes. And that's the thing, a lot of young people want to be going to school wearing the latest shoes, having the latest bag, and it's scary. School is school. Wait till when you're outside to be wearing your nice calms, you know?
100%.
And that's like, and then as you just said, you know, that could send that young person, the young guy, if he heard what was going on, into the wrong company. I really like this girl, man. And even if he doesn't like the girl, he'd be like, "Oh, they're looking at me, they're judging me. Gosh, I've got to get some money."
Yeah.
And then he ends up talking to the wrong person, start being a runner for drugs, and all of those slippery things, and then getting into trouble with the law. And then because they've not learnt that actually you can't be speaking to people in the wrong way, then they start saying the wrong thing to the police. The police are, "Oh, what's going on here?"
Yeah.
And then it starts to get slippery, right? I mean, on our last podcast, we spoke about literally some of the stuff you said to people in the workshops. You gave them a question to answer, and you were so surprised at what they came. Even I was flabbergasted when I said, "What, huh?" About the £1,000.
Yes.
That's scary.
No, I agree. And I feel like from that interview that we did, and the feedback was, a lot of people came forward and said, "Oh, they're probably lying, they're probably saying they're just making it up," or so on. But when you look at it deeply, they're not lying, and they are doing it right now. I've named numerous examples. A young person will be offered £1,000 to go sell drugs in or out of London for a week. So he's in his head, he's thinking he's getting £1,000 per week to sell drugs. Within that week, he can start selling drugs on a Monday. By a Wednesday, if he gets arrested, that is more than a 2-year sentence, and he literally did that for £1,000. Another example, phone theft robberies. People are stealing phones up and down the country. They go for how much? Let's say £300-400 once sold done. Again, you could be looking at a 2-year sentence or more, depending on if it's classed as theft or robbery. Another example, Canada Goose jackets, Moncler jackets. You see a lot of knife point robberies that are happening. All it takes is one young person to have a tussle with that person, and he can easily be a victim of a knife, of a stabbing, or something else. And again, that is less than £1,000. And when they start understanding how much £1,000 is, they start understanding this is actually happening in front of us, but we're not doing anything. It's only when you put it in that question or in that format, it gets worrying. And I said to them, everyone normally walks around, not normally, but close enough, walks around for £1,000 on them. Your iPhone probably costs £500. Your jacket probably another £100. So what's that? £700. Your shoes you're wearing, if it's a nice pair, another £100. That's near enough £800. you can easily be a victim to someone, and you're walking around the streets alone every day normally for £800. So when you have 37 young people saying they will go prison for 2 years or more for £1,000, that's the reality, and they're just being honest. And they're screaming for help. And us as society, we need to do something about that. And that's through the lack of literacy about money, but that's also a lack of alternative options that they have. Because if they feel like that's good, that's scary. And I feel like it's scary, but they've been honest and they're truthful.
Yeah, and it also it covers also cost of living as well, cost of living crisis that we're in at the moment, in that young people are desperate. They see a lot of their parents really working some long hours trying to put food on the table, pay their gas bill, pay the electric bill. Even if they've got a car, do they sell the car, keep the car? If the young person is going to a sports club, football club, for example, sorry, you can't go nowhere because you can't afford it. You know, and you spoke about mental health. Young people are really stressed, really, really stressed. Not just like, you know, in one part of the country, all over the country. And you spoke about phone thefts, yeah? That's a real thing, because there's an organisation called Love Your Doorstep, right? That operates out of Enfield, and she's doing like walk-arounds, like after school, make sure young people get home from school okay, because people are going into the town from outside, robbing these young kids, like you said, mobile phones, and they're out again. So they're trying to protect these young people.
Wow.
So this is like community getting together and say, look, enough is enough. Do you know what I mean? We want to protect our young people going to school, coming home from school safely, without fear of being attacked or held up. That say like, give me your trainers, or give me your mobile phone. One lady spoke a bit about it, because I think she was interviewed on ITV.
Okay.
I think, yeah. And her son was literally robbed 4 times. Right?
Wow.
Same thing. It's like they see a particular individual and say, all right, they're more likely to get that phone replaced. Nobody wants to be a victim. Nobody wants to be a target. But it's like, how are we going to be dealing with what's going on outside as a community? And definitely what Khady's Dream is doing is an amazing work. So, you know, I'm looking forward to hearing, you know, how much more you'll grow further up and down, like London, and around London, up and down the country. Because what you're doing is groundbreaking. It's welcomed. You're doing an amazing job. You know, it's fantastic. And certainly from the last interview that we, last podcast that we did, an interview, I was surprised. It went viral.
Yeah.
I heard it went viral, and I'm like, okay, so this is a talking point. People need to talk about financial literacy and what's going on with young people where that's concerned, and mental health. And from that perspective, the people that have been reaching out to you, Kevin, are from different kind of organisations, such as, I want to talk about those people. Not, you can name if you want. I
feel like a lot of people that have reached out are from, some of them are from professional backgrounds. They work within the criminal justice system. Some of them are ex-prison govs. Some of them are nurses. Some of them are money management companies. And some of them podcasts. But the main purpose and the main feedback is they understand the issue. It's like they were just waiting for someone to address it and waiting for someone to see it in their point of view. So I feel like them coming forward have shown that there is a problem that we need to come back together and fix. And a lot of the time, it's not about finding a solution on the spot. It's just about having the awareness for these young people to see the other side of things and planting that doubt in their head. Because a lot of the time, growing up, slowly but slowly, I feel like I had the understanding of what prison was like before I entered in prison. So my understanding was like, prison's prison, you have a TV, you have a phone in your cell, Netflix, it's fun and games, you go in there, you come out. And that the way I learned my understanding was through social media and through the content I was seeing. There wasn't no workshops, there wasn't no mentors, there wasn't no program that I was attending that will show me the other side of prison. It was just about gaining my information through social media. So as I'm growing up and I'm seeing these things, in my head I'm thinking, prison's not that bad then. Prison's actually manageable. I keep seeing it. But then they don't realise it until it's too late. And that's what I feel like it's sad, because these consequences are hidden. Us as a society, we have not done anything to prevent these young people from thinking this is the truth. And I feel like that's what's happened, because by the time you get from 9, 10, if you keep seeing the same content year by year, you start to embed yourself a belief system that it's okay. So by the time you're 16, 17, 18, anyone that's coming to tell you prison's not like this, is like that, you're just saying, nah, mate, I don't believe you. I've been watching the same content for the last 8, 9 years of prison, showing me snacks, showing me TV, showing me soaps. So now you're coming in here and telling me prison's not like that. It's too late. I've already built up this belief system. You're not going to do it overnight, mate. I've been watching these videos since the age of 11. I'm 18 now. This is how prison is. It's a walk in the park. And you, by one workshop, you're not going to tell me this is. And that's the sad thing.
I mean, it's certainly not a walk in the park, because, you know, you're talking about your experience, what you went through. You've seen it. You're talking it real. You're saying, you know, the real deal. Yeah.
Yes.
And even there's a barrister, Stephen Akinsanya, and he talks about this all the time. When he's called to defend a young person, they give it all the hype on the road. Yeah, I'm a bad man, or it's a young girl, I'm a bad girl, you know?
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But when they're sitting in that cell wanting their mum, and they're bawling, because the reality hits home, like, oh gosh, I'm in real trouble here. Yeah? You can play the bad man or the bad girl on the road, but the reality is, it's not a joke.
No.
Right? And what's his life of focus is the organisation, what he's doing. He's going around, similar to what you're doing, and he's talking at workshops, running workshops, giving people the reality of what's really going on out there. You carry a knife. The reality is, you're likely to kill somebody, hurt yourself, or even kill yourself. Why are you going to be leaving your house with a weapon?
100%.
Why? You know, the reality, the game, if you're playing on a PlayStation game or you're watching a movie, that's what it is. It's fiction, right?
Yeah.
It's not real, right? It's not real at all. So he's had to defend countless young people behind bars for years and years and years, because they're not judging what they're doing. They're so detached. It's like you know those glasses they wear, you know, those
VR glasses.
Yeah. So it's like they're trapped in a virtual reality.
Yeah.
And what you're doing and what he's doing is similar, but his workshops are from the perspective of, you know, he's a barrister, he's seen it firsthand. You have lived it firsthand.
Yes.
Right? And this is what young people need. And it's not just young people. I think the elders as well, parents.
I feel that too. One of the workshops that we did, I met a mother, because it was at a youth club, a mother and a young person, and I was just briefly having a conversation, explaining what I want Khady Dream to become, and she understood it as a mother point of view, as also parents. As a parent, you have a duty of care to protect your child, give him love, give him an understanding and how to grow him up in the world. One of them things is, when they start showing signs of trouble or certain mysterious ways, every parent has their way of dealing with that. But one thing that everyone struggles with is telling them the reality of their consequences in the future. And there is no platform, no idea, no scheme, nothing that will help parents to educate their young person. And it's hard for a mother or a father, because one, they don't have the time. Two, some of them might have not been in prison themselves, so they can't teach their kids free. And three, where are they going? You can't go to schools. Schools don't teach it. Solicitors, they only help you once you get charged or when you're doing an offence. They've run out of options. The only way is through youth offenders team, but then again, you have to get arrested. So as a mother, you need help, you need struggle, you need something that you want your kids to attend and show them this is the reality of things. You want to go there as yourself so you understand. So next time your kid comes home and he's smelling of cannabis, you can tell him, yo, like, look, What you're doing, it's not only DBS check. Do you know you're going to be in a cell and there's a place called segregation where you might be lonely? Do you know how this is going to affect me as a mother? How when my friends ask me, where's Kevin been? I have to lie and say he's studying abroad when really he's in prison. All these things you're not seeing. And that starts off from you stealing from a chocolate. Look, and feel like that knowledge as a mother and as a father is empowering, and it can stop a young person from a young age. That's why families understand the need of it. They want to gain the understanding. They want to have something so they can teach the young people. A one sentence saying, if you do wrong, you end up in prison, is not enough for a young person.
No.
One sentence. If they ask you, turn around and say, Mum, what's prison like? Or what actually happens in prison? As a mother, you'll be a bit lost. You have to refer to what he say, she say. And quickly again, young people are not stupid. They will know what's authentic, what's real. They seen it on TV, they understand it. So now it's a losing battle already, because he's not gonna believe you. So in his head, he's gonna think, oh, prison must not be that hard if my mum can't even tell me what is actually happening in there. She can't tell me that. She can't tell me that.
Well, if she's not had that experience,
she ain't had that experience.
She ain't gonna be able to say what it's like.
She can't. So she's gonna need an organisation that supports, that's based around that. That's based around delivering authentic programs to these young people. So after they go to that workshop, that mum can say, okay, see now you understand a bit what we'll go through. So it's not just, if you do something wrong, it's prison. This is what I was stopping you from entering. And you're lucky that you've seen this authentically in this program, because the only other way you would have saw this is if you got arrested and the youth offenders team approached you. Right,
exactly. You know, and what do you think about boot camps? Because there's been a number of programs on TV where, well, I've seen some programs where, and you must have seen them as well, right? And it's like a swap. Like a child is misbehaving, gets sent to live with another parent, and vice versa. A parent who's been strict, who's quite strict. I can't remember the name of the show. My gosh. So, like a child who don't like have no manners to their parent. They ain't doing nothing. They just lay down in the bed all day, and they get sent to a really strict house, and they rebel. I can't remember the name of the show. So if anyone's seen this podcast and they know like about these shows, man, just type in, let us know. But I've seen things in America where they've sent youngsters. They've dressed them in orange gear, right, and sent them into boot camps where people are like literally drilling them. I'm like, that don't work for everybody. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that really hard approach could work, or?
Funny enough, before you mentioned that, I actually looked at the status of that, and the program showed that the young people that actually attended the program were more likely after that to offend, because they understood that it was like they gained an insight of what it's actually like doing that, and they felt like it was manageable, and they thought like, this is what we're gonna go through if we end up in prison. Alright, cool, it's not too bad. And I feel like with them programs, it's 50-50. I feel like certain young people go in there and they will be scared. They will understand this. But again, someone will quickly turn around and tell them, that's not real. That's just a program that you was going through. That's just to scare you. And then quickly already, that young person will be like, okay, that was just used to scare me. And then it will cause friction. And some of them will go in there and try to think like, cool, let me actually test myself. Like, let me see if I can actually handle this. Like, and after going there, be the tough one. Understand that they're not physically allowed to hit you, or you're not really in there. So let me see how long I can be cheeky for and see if I can actually see myself being there. And the moment they actually starts thinking, cool, man can actually manage this situation. Like, look, like, I understand a bit of the rules. I understand how it goes. Like, when you go there, you have to give respect. You might be padded up with this in person. So already, some people might be programming themselves that this is a possibility where I can be in 5 years. So at least I know, so I can prepare myself. And that's the sad thing as well.
You can never be
that's
prepared.
The funny thing. You can never actually be prepared. With this system, there's so many hidden consequences that's unlimited. We live in a country where they can change the law tomorrow if they want to.
100%.
You might get all the education, all the knowledge, all the wisdom from the criminal justice system today. You wake up tomorrow, there's a new law. And until someone goes through that, you don't know how it feels.
And the reality is, there's parents out there like losing not just their children to the criminal justice system. Well, let me just make it a bit clearer what I've just said. The criminal justice system, you can either be a victim, right, of that,
Yes.
or the defendant. So basically, a family could have lost a child through crime because they've committed the crime, or that child has been a victim of crime.
Yes.
And they don't see that child ever again. But you commit a really serious crime. That's it. You're in there. They throw away the key. And the reality is, young people need to realise that what you're telling them, the reality is, you're behind bars, right? Your family's out there. You don't know what's going on,
100%.
right? You could have got involved with the wrong nasties out there, and you're in there thinking everything's cool. You don't know what's happening to your parents. You don't know. Your parents work hard. Your family work hard. And next minute, people banging on the door. Yeah, your so-and-so is inside, but he owes us this.
100%.
He owes us that. And then they're going through all of that.
Yes.
Victimization, don't know what to do. They might have to move, And even, you mentioned before about your name being mixed up in the criminal justice system, getting in trouble, right? And on the system, if the police do a check and they say, that family. That family. The consequences of their actions, they need to be aware of that. So is that the kind of thing you talk about in your workshop as well?
100%. I think one thing that's heavily focused on my workshop is the hidden consequences. I quickly show them that what you're seeing on the social media is a 2-3 minute clip out of a whole 24 hours. I quickly show them that your favorite rapper might not mention these things because 1, it's not going to get them paid. 2, it's leaving them vulnerable. And 3, it's not what everyone wants to hear. Everyone don't want to hear how depressed you are. Everyone don't want to hear about all the struggles and so on. But someone's got to speak out of it. And they're the ones with the biggest platform. So I'm not calling them out as in telling them to come out more and share their stories. But there needs to be something that shows another side of things. Because right now it's a tunnel vision. So the workshop heavily focus on hidden consequences, things that you won't see unless if you enter the system. It's like a pay-as-you-go system. You only pay for the consequence as you go, and it doesn't finish. It doesn't finish when you come out of prison. It doesn't finish when you're in prison. It's always ongoing. There's things that you're not aware of, things that you wasn't prepared of. Expect the unexpected. There's always violence. There's always new things you're exposed. There's always vulnerability. There's always times that your loved ones might be on the phone. They might come on a visit. They might get into a fight. Your loved one might be on the other side of the phone, be like, yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm dealing with things. As a loved one, they will never tell you they're struggling. I've been in and out of prison full time. Not once did my mum say they were struggling. Not once did she ever come on the phone and she looked stressed. Not once did I ever thought that she come on a visit and looked depressed. Not once. And as a parent, I feel like they cover that well. So you will never know. But they will just go on story by story until it hits them and they can't take it no more. Until sadly you hear, yes, she's in hospital. She had a stroke. She's not eating. She's gone mad. She's got PTSD. She's depressed. She's anxiety. And you're thinking to yourself, but I didn't know you was going through that, Mum. Why did he speak out? How can she speak out?
How can she?
How can she put that stress on you? And these are the consequences you don't see. And I feel like in society, it's not fair. And I'm very passionate to tell people it's not fair that we've let young people grow up watching these contents, gaining the understanding and thinking it's normal, one side of things. A lot of the time, they start from early, they start believing that it's only one side, this is the only side. No, there's hidden consequences, and they're hidden because why? Because no one's speaking about it. And those that have gone through the criminal justice system and know about these consequences, they're coming out and they don't want to speak about it. A lot of the time, it's triggering PTSD. A lot of the time, I've delivered workshops and I actually think about the times I've lived through these experiences, and it's not fun and games. And these young people can see it through my eye and see it through my passion that it's not a joke. And these are the things that I wish. And my mum can express the same feelings, that she understands that she don't want no parent to feel like this. No parent to feel like their loved ones can manage this prison, or they can understand, or they can expect what to expect. These little things like what to first night in prison, what to expect, things like that. No. Everyone has their own experience. Everyone's different. Every prison's different, own rules. You can never expect it. And that's what a lot of the workshop is very heavily content about, raw, authentic, but also hidden consequences. Things that you're not going to see on social media. You're not going to hear it on a normal podcast. You're not going to see it out there. We're not fantasy. We're not reading things off a study case. We're not doing none of that. It's raw, authentic, lived experience, and it just triggers the thoughts that you're not going to see. It's like an investment management. An investment will tell you to put £1,000 here. The stock and trade will be going up and down, but 5 years' time, you might get like £2,000 on top of your money. When you hear that, you okay, but you won't see that on the criminal side of things. You don't see that your choices and decisions you're making in school could quickly spiral out to antisocial behaviour, getting arrested, tag, youth offenders team, then boom, slowly, then one day these consequences happen.
Exactly. And, you know, consequences, again, a criminal record, you know, and how they categorise it and so on and so forth. And these things, if the young person wants to go to, say, Australia, or they want to go to America, anywhere in the world, right, but particularly in Australia and America, you want to do a specific job, 10 years down the line, you got in trouble and you've done this crime, and it's a registered crime. Certain registered crimes, it's on the system. Even in Australia, you've got to fill out forms. Have you been in trouble before? Yeah? What did you do? You have to be transparent with them, because they can go on the system and find out.
100%.
Yeah? And you say you've worked and you spend your big money, you paid for your airfare, and you get stopped at customs and they're asking you some questions, you stay there and lie to them. You're going straight back on the plane. Right back. Because I watch some of those shows that come on TV, but I'm like, what are these people doing? You seen the ones I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, just be honest, man. Just 100%. Be honest. But the reality is, it shows you that what you did 10, 20, 30 years ago, even 5 years ago, is there, right? And
just to touch on that, and I feel like the biggest, easiest example to give on that is Tyson Fury and Wilder. When Tyson Fury went to America to fight Wilder, his dad could not go to America because he had a criminal conviction. And I think it was in 2020, he had a criminal conviction where he had to serve time in prison. So I like to tell people, look, if Tyson Fury's dad was not allowed in America and they have millions, so you can just imagine how much bribery or how much ways or gaps or loopholes they could have thought of. So for him to not go watch his son fight in America with all the money that he has behind him because he has a criminal record, what makes you think you're going to get there?
Come on.
That's Tyson Fury. That's not someone just down the road, mate. That's Tyson Fury's dad.
Yeah, it's just a reality check. Like,
and he had to watch his son fight in America on one of the biggest platforms against Wilder on the TV because of his decision that he made 3 years ago, and he's paying for the consequences now. It doesn't get as big as that. He can never say he was there when his son fought Wilder, and that's because of a decision he made 3 years ago.
You see? So, would you say that, well, do you think that in your lifetime, because we never know how long we're going to live for, that you would make a lot of change in society? Because I'm a person that believes that if you can get through to maybe just one person, right? That one person can still speak to another person, and so on and so on and so forth. So if you can get through to 5 people and 10 people, the more workshops that you do, you're saving a lot of children. You're saving a lot of people. And, you know, would you agree that by working with these other organisations that invite you in and contacting you, especially since the last podcast as well, that we're actually making a step, we're actually making up ground now. It's a lot of work, but I think that if we keep going, we'll get there.
100%. I feel like this is just the start. I feel like in terms of longevity, this has to stay. It's needed. It's needed 1,000%. And I feel like with the backing with the other organisations and them understanding the need of this is something that us as a community, us as a country must have for young people to understand. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. we are focused on the cure, but not the prevention. We have youth offenders team, probation. Again, I like to refer to both of them, but nothing there beforehand. What are you going to do if their crying mother is crying day and night that their loved one keeps coming in and they're smelling of weed? Can you please talk to him about what his choices are going to make? She's up at night daily. She's got 4 other kids. She ain't got the time to just focus on one of them. Where are you going to send that young mother to gain the knowledge? Where are you going to send that young person to gain knowledge, to actually understand the authenticity? That's why it's got to be there. And with this other organisation with more lived experience, it's about awareness, like you said, and just planting a doubt. A lot of the time, these young people think they know it all. A lot of these workshops, at the end, I get asked, "Oh, I didn't know that," or "Oh, is that true?" Oh wow, like I've never seen that somewhere else. And it's just about planting that seed. Once that seed is planted, you can always water it. Once you create that doubt, you still have a chance. It's not gonna happen overnight, but now, just putting that awareness in them, you have a chance. It's one step. That's just one step. You gotta put a doubt in these kids, especially the ones that are a bit older now. You gotta put a doubt in them.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, talk about workshops. Something just came to my mind about parents. So you're running workshops for young people. Is it in your plan as well, to run workshops for parents as well?
100%. I feel like 100%. A lot of the youth clubs that we have run the workshops, surprisingly, parents have come.
Good.
And they understand the need of this. They understand the support. They understand what we're trying to do, and they come. But I feel like in the future, we will be running training programs for just parents and families. Because I feel like this is a learning mechanism that they need. They need to be able to teach their young people about the consequences. Because if prison, as a community, as a country, if prisons is our biggest power in terms of punishment for people, that shouldn't be dished out straight away on the cards. Because once they're in there, they have in the mind, well, this is the worst it could get for me, so it can't get any worse. So then you've potentially lost him. Like, once they go to prison, you've potentially lost him. They could always come back, you can still see him, but that fear is gone. You will never get the same fear. So I feel like parents need to understand that they need an approach, they need a system. Once they gain the knowledge, then it's in their power, and they can know how to manage it if they love one. They know their child better than anyone else. They know where it could be triggering, where it could be effective. If that young person loves their mum, next time they go and they smell of weed, it could be like, look, you're smelling of weed. We went to that workshop about cannabis. Do you want to go to prison, and do you want me to go ill? I can get cancer if you continue, because I won't be able to deal with you in prison. I can potentially get cancer. And selling that to a young person, that's just mind-blowing and scary. If my mum come to me when I was 13, 14, and when I committed my first offence, she said, look, Kevin, if you continue, you can go to prison. And if you go to prison, I won't be able to deal with it. I might get ill. I might hurt myself. I might self-harm. I might even commit suicide. I might even commit cancer. And that's me telling me from the bottom of my heart. I'll say, Mum, relax. I'm going to stop. Or Mum, that will be at the back of my mind, because that's a mum telling me to stop for her own being. Because a lot of these people feel like when they commit crime, it's only them for going through their punishment. It's not that. There's the ripple effect that we go in.
The whole family, people, the associations, everybody goes through it. Everybody.
100%.
And you know, I mean, those workshops will be amazing. The ones that you plan to do in the future, because you're already starting to do some.
Yes.
Because I can just envision people, like parents, going through the internet, looking, oh, our kid's in trouble, I don't know what to do, looking for advice, looking for help. Phone one organisation. Oh, sorry, we don't deal with that. Point them to youth offenders. Point them to the other people referral unit. No, I don't. It doesn't need to go that far. Come, I need some help.
Yes.
And that is, again, is adding to the mental health crisis that's going on at the moment, because, as you said, the effect, if that young person gets into trouble, how it affects their parents, how it affects their siblings, how it affects their friends. You know, the parent maybe not want to come out the house, you know, might lose their job because they're going to work and they might talk the wrong way to their boss.
Yes.
They lose their character. And then, oh gosh, I can't. once it's left your mouth, you can't take it back.
Definitely
You know,
can't.
and then that's a spiral. Just that horrible spiral effect of going down in society, going down, going down, going down. You know, and we spoke about young people, the disconnect. Oh, where was I the other day? Oh my gosh, I was near my local high street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of young people walking past, and I heard snippets of a conversation. I was astounded. There's and they were in school uniform. Let me just put that. They was in school uniform, secondary school uniform. There couldn't be more than maybe 14.
Okay.
15. Oh, that's just crazy. That's crazy. He could have made more money than that, you know. When you're selling that kind of stuff, I'm like, blatantly talking about selling drugs and how the man sell the young person. He's talking about a friend from school, a peer member, could have made more money. I'm like, that's deep. So young people are in schools, right? And they're actually selling, if not outside school.
Yeah.
Outside when they finish from school, when they're doing whatever. I'm like, that's scary. That they're actually involved at such a young age of selling drugs.
Scary.
I mean, some of the young people that you speak to in your workshops, what age groups do you speak to?
We try to aim speaking between 13 to 19, 21. I feel like that age is when they've crossed over secondary school, and I feel like it's when they start secondary school, all the challenges begin. They understand that it's about, they want to be cool now. There's other older boys they want to look up to. They're exposed to much more. You're exposed to females now. You're exposed to status. That you're going to schools, you're going to after school clubs. You start gaining friendships. And that's when the challenges and peer pressure happens, social media. So I feel like getting them at 13, 12 even, is a key stage of it. Because if they're old enough to be on the line from the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, they can already gain an understanding of what's happening in the real world. But that can sometimes not be authentic. That can sometimes be misleading. And that's why we need to come in there and be like, yo, yes, I know what you've seen on social media all these years, but hear me out. There's another side of things. And just that's it. That's all they need. Just a little drop, a little information, a little exposure. At the moment, there's nothing. When I'm delivering these workshops, and a lot of the time I'm looking at content to try show a contrast of what is actually happening in prison. Like, it's very limited, it's very authentic. Most of the content is through lived experience only. And when you're reaching out to other people through lived experience, they're willing to help, but they just need a platform to be vulnerable. And a lot of the times that Khady's dream is where they can actually see a gap. Because not only is it doing that, but the connection with family, but also giving young people alternative routes. Because at the end of the 6-7 workshop programs, a lot of the time we've understood that, all right, sir, we understand that crime comes with a lot of hidden challenges and consequences. We're not even about that life no more. We don't want to leave our loved ones vulnerable. There's certain things like mental health that I feel like I'm not made for that. At the end of the day, we live in United Kingdom. We don't live in Mexico, or we don't live in New York or Chicago. We live in the United Kingdom, and we've realised that, sir. But I'm going to need help to do this. My hobby is football, or I like money, so can you get me into money management? Can you get me into stock trading? And that's what we do with the partnership as well. We do not want to be an organisation that say from early that we can offer everything. No, what I want to specialise is authentic, raw, and the truth about the criminal justice system. Being good at planting that doubt. Getting people that think they know it all, coming to this workshop and walking out of there and saying, actually, I didn't know everything. Actually, that was a bit mad. That's a bit extreme. Let me sleep on that. Let me think about that. And that there can start. And with other organisations and partnership that we aim to have, we can be like, we check up on the referral, ask that young person, oh, how are you feeling? Like, yeah, it's Khady's dream. Like, I remember in your application on the feedback, you said you were interested in music management or something. We've got an organisation that works close by. You want to introduce there? Because once you plant that seed of doubt, they're vulnerable. And once they're vulnerable, that you can get them to start thinking of other options.
Exactly. So this is what we want to do. We want to just make sure that this sense of light in this pod. You're like, Allah. Yeah, so that's what they need. They need that encouragement. Find out what their interests are, and if they're not really speaking up, how do you get them to talk? So sometimes you might not get through to one pupil in your first session, the second or third. But one thing I've noticed about your organisation, you don't give up.
No.
There's no giving up on it.
No.
And as well, you know, something just came to mind as well. So I know like young people, they might hang out in the wrong place where people can approach them to get into the wrong crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Like certain shops. I mean, have you thought about possibility? It's just an idea. Like maybe certain areas, like putting up a little flyer, like a link that people can actually say, "Do you know what? I don't know if I can go to this workshop, or how do I get help?
Mm-hmm.
Like a helpline,
Yeah.
for young people. Because I know you're doing workshops, but hopefully you get the support that there can be like a helpline. People can youngster can just say, look, I don't know what to do.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like that will be needed. I feel like that's gradually in the next steps as we move forward, gain more attraction, deliver more workshop, more funding. I feel like that will be one of the resources we do, having that helpline, being able to talk to someone that's lived there, been on the other side of, and just having that option of power. Being able to talk to someone that's lived it, done it as quick as a phone call. Because a lot of the time when you call these helpline, they're professionals working. There are people that that rather do admin work. They're professionals. They don't really have the experience or background, so they just say, "Oh, hold on a minute, we'll pass you on to so on." Being on a phone could be like, "Yo, bro, yeah, I was just thinking of going out of country to sell some weed or sell some Class A drug. I just wanted to know what you thought of it." And just having them on the phone, bro, yeah, I did that when I was 13, 14. What I could say is, it's not good. I ended up in prison, this and so on, so on. If you need help, take down my number, take down my contact Khady's Dream, we'll work on you. And just having that. And him knowing that the other person he's speaking on the phone is not a Tom, Dick or Harry. It's someone that's actually lived that experience, someone that's young, someone that's relatable, certain people that can have a conversation and you can quickly connect with them. I feel like that's what will be helpful. A helpline that's run by, I don't want to use this term, but mandem. People that are actually relatable. So I feel like, yeah, no, definitely in the future, and putting them posters, helpline, and it's just about building a strong foundation and partnership, because I'm looking at long term, this is not something that's not going to go away. This is something that I'm very passionate about, and I feel like at the end of the day, they deserve it. Young people deserve the truth. That's the least we're doing. At least we're doing it. The change and the impact, we can focus on that later on the stage. At the moment, they deserve it. And as a society or as a community, we just have a duty, okay, to give them the truth. We don't like being lied to. We don't like not getting the full picture of the pie. When people are talking about us, and if your friend comes and tells you half the story, why are you telling me half the story? Why not you just tell me all the story? Now you're treating me for... We like everything open. So why are we not being open about the full extent of the consequences? Why are we just giving off a bit of it, like, oh, you can go prison and you might see people getting hot kettled with sugar. You might not. All right, cool, but tell them about how you're on the phone and you spoke to your mum, and throughout the conversation she said she was alright and cool, but deep down you know she's not alright or cool, but you can't do anything because you're locked in a box. Why not you tell that, but you want to say that, oh yeah, I see a couple of people getting hot kettled, but that's normal, you get used to it. Say something a bit personal. Say how your dad passed away and you couldn't go to the funeral. Things like that. And I feel like that's why this is not going anywhere anytime soon. And yeah.
It's just so important. Absolutely. And also, you know, I was just thinking about, as you're talking, it takes me to scenarios where I've been, like, for example, gone to a medical appointment. I've been at a hospital, for example. And, you see someone coming in, shackled. They come from prison, and they all got in handcuffs.
Oh, yeah.
Handcuffs. If you talk about the reality of how the consequences, how it affects people, you know, your family. What about them? If you become ill and you need to go get some medical help, they're not taking you in your random clothes. You're going in
prison clothes.
You're going in handcuffs. You're going there with prison guard. You could all bump into people you know who don't know what you've been up to. right? And the embarrassment, the shame of it, you know, that is the reality. These things happen.
It's the shame, 100%. Because I feel like a lot of the time when people actually make these decisions, and Tracy, they feel like it's all me. Like, I don't care what happens to me. Like, as long as my family's good. A lot of the time, that's how I used to think when I was doing my sentencing. I can deal with what's happening with me because I made the decision, but what I can't deal with is what's happening to my friends and family on the outside, because that's out of my control, and I never planned to do this. When I went to do the things I was doing, I was only prepared for me to be affected, not my friends and family being affected. And that's why it's important to show them you're not doing a sentence by yourself. There's a saying that I like to say: when you get sentenced, the judge says your first name and your surname. You're getting sentenced, that's your first name. Your family's getting sentenced, that's why it reads out your second name.
Reality. Right, so let's talk about this. Here we go now. So when you're not at KD stream, how do you just chill out?
Oh, chilling. I meet my friends. I go check my mum. Like restaurants, gym. I like gym.
I was about to say about the gym, man.
No, I've lost a bit of weight, but I do like to keep myself fit. And like, I just like holidays as well. Last year was the first time I went on holiday in like 11 years, so that was good. But and just refreshing my mind, like I feel like, but because I'm so passionate of this, and I just see every time you see things on social media and you see kids and glamorizing and things like that, and because I'm like, it comes up on my story and it comes up on like when I'm just going about my business, and I just feel like I just look at it for like, it just motivates me and just gives me that hunger to like just get through to these young people, be like, bro, that's not it.
That's not the one.
There's 1% of you lot that's actually gonna be a millionaire or even hit certain figures out of the road life. And like, and I like to say quickly that at these workshops, that when I'm just relaxing, that I like to tell them, look, when I start a workshop, I am not your father, I am not your role model. I am not here to say what you can do or can't do. Because a lot of the time I feel like people deliver workshops and they're very hard hitting, like put your knives down, don't do this, don't do that. Me as a young person, I used to sit in these workshops and I used to think, but who's this sausage telling me what can and can't do? Like, he doesn't know where I'm coming from, he doesn't know the reasons why. And I understand that. But one thing I told these young people, I go there, I'm not here to tell you what to do, what not to do. I'm just coming here to tell you the truth. If you continue doing what you're doing, it's not what I want for you, but that's your decision. If you stop what you're doing, that's a blessing, then I've done my job. But one thing I'm coming to tell you today, whether you like it or not, is the truth. And as soon as I get that out from the beginning, they understand he's different.
Right. And you know why I asked you, what do you do when in your spare time?
Yeah.
It's like to see, like for people to see like the real Kev, because you come here and everything's just real. And your passion, you said it, you know, you went on holiday, first time in 11 years, which is great. Because if you had continued down that pathway, you wouldn't have been going on holiday.
No, definitely not.
And you could look back and say, well, I'm glad to turn it around. Look what I'm experiencing. And it makes you even more passionate about what you're doing. Because you want young people not to go down the criminal path and have that experience of taking holidays, right? And as you said, entrepreneurs, there's a lot of young people out there. And look, if they can put their mind to doing certain little transactions and doing all this, you've got a business mind.
100%.
Take that mindset,
100%.
turn it into business. You can make your money. Yeah, you're not gonna. The reality is, okay, you're not gonna make that possibly straight away in a week.
Yeah.
But hard work does pay.
100%.
Right? Your manners, how your character, how you manage yourself when you're going to work, knowing about having respect for authority. Even if the manager disses you and talks to you a certain way, there's a chain of command. That you can speak to HR. There's ways to deal with it. It's how to carry yourself, walking upright, dress properly, make sure your clothes done wash good, and you iron your clothes and you smell fresh, your beard, and all them something there.
Yeah.
You know, and the reality is it's just there. It's just right there, right in front of you. But often it just takes one silly
100%.
mistake, right? Like you know, your mind you're thinking, oh, you want to keep up with the man. You've seen he's got this or she's got that, and then before you know it, you're like, oh gosh, it was a trick, man. It was a trick.
100%.
Why didn't I think that? Actually, do you know what? I can make my money by working hard.
100%.
I need to understand that. Okay, I don't understand how much this will buy me, but if someone can teach me about how to budget my money properly, what I can get for this, right, amount of time of work, okay, right, I'm not going to waste it on that.
Yeah.
I will see the end goal.
I feel, yeah. And just to touch on that, recently, I think I was giving a talk in Camden Summit, and I just touched on that, like, the difference between the road life and the criminal life and the legitimate road is young people understand the steps of the criminal lifestyle and they can see the end goal. They see it through social media, marketing and music. They understand that everyone starts as a worker and you move up the ladder and then you start investing more of your money. Then you get bigger. Then after you start having workers that work for you, then your workers have workers underneath you. So as a young person, they can see that it's achievable. They see it through the music, they see it through the social media, they see it through the lifestyle. They understand the level. So when they're about to take that risk, they understand this ain't long term. I'm going to start as a runner, get enough money, get more drugs that are available, then have a runner that runs for me, then move up the ladder. When legitimate world, when they like jobs are offering young people, they can't see that. They can't see the ladder. They can't see that. And if they try to see it, it's not possible. And if they do see it, it's not someone that looks like them. So straight away, it's not believable. You're sitting on an interview, mate, want you to work for us, your salary's going to be 30k, you'll be given this, that, and after they will be like, the young person might say, okay, so if I keep going, like, what's the furthest I can get there? You can just be like the manager, the boss, and we'll work on that. It's not believable, it's not seeable. You can see the ladder of the criminal lifestyle every day on social media. You go online, you can type in a famous rapper, he will talk about how he moved up the rankings. It's that easy. Try to find a certain person that worked for Amazon for 5 years and they moved up the ladder and they're now in the big house or big thing. And type it on YouTube and see if that exists. You can't see that. So why is it accessible for a criminal lifestyle but it's not accessible for the legitimate world?
True. Very true.
That easy. It's that easy. And I feel like, again, who's to blame? What are we doing about it? Is anyone bothered? But that's what Khady's dream's going to be all tackling. Not only the criminal justice system side, but also tackling through the media side of thing as well. Showing them the comparison, letting them understand it. Media is a powerful thing now. If kids can't see it, they won't believe it.
And that's it. And the children, I don't say children, but yes, from children, young people need to grasp reality. You know, for it to be tangible, you know, and certainly people delivering workshops need to be able to engage with young people the right way, speak their language, understand what they're saying, be in touch. You know, I'm a strong believer in opportunities, employment opportunities for young people. Like when they're in school, you have the careers talks, but not like the same boring stuff. Make it varied. Have a selection. Network, bring people in. Let's say, okay, offer apprenticeships. Let people know an apprenticeship. Talk to them what apprenticeship's all about. Yeah, for sure. Because a lot of young people, they might have to talk, but it might be delivered to them in maybe not so much as an engaging way for them to say, okay, that's what happens. Okay, so right, so do I want to go to? Because and also young people, they are very bright. They might want to go to university, but they're like, oh gosh, I don't want to be stuck with thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of debt, right? And that's the sad thing about that part. However, you know, reality say, look, if you want to do that, you work hard, get into a good job, and then you can start paying it off. But while you are actually studying, hold down a little voluntary job. Do something voluntary, so people can see that okay, you care, but you're passionate. Do some voluntary work. Have a little part-time job. Keep yourself current. Keep it moving. while you're doing that. And then when they come out, they will see, yeah, you know what, I can do this. Because I'm sure you've probably met people who have gone to university but then ended up
100%.
in the criminal justice system. It's not literally just people who haven't got an education that end up in the criminal justice system. It's anybody
100%
can be vulnerable to influence and do the wrong thing out of desperation, you know?
I believe so. I feel like it's a lot of teamwork. Obviously, we can't do it by ourselves. It's going to take a lot of people coming together, but I feel like the change is coming. I feel like change is coming. More young people are going to be exposed to the truth through social media, through workshops, through getting the name out there, more lived experience. And definitely, I feel like, again, more money management. I feel like everyone's got a part to play into this.
100%.
I know I talk a lot about lived experience and authenticity and so on, but everyone has a plan. Everyone has a part of this. Everyone that's worked with criminal justice system, whether it's inside or outside, a parent, a loved one, everyone has ideas. Everyone struggles with the same issues. So I feel like I don't want to leave people without lived experience out. I feel like they can commit as well. It's just about finding what they can commit in and how effective and impactful it's going to be in. It doesn't have to be, they might not be best at delivering workshop, but they can be best at maybe partnerships. They can be best at probably admin work. They can be best at communicating with certain people. I know that if I go to certain schools, the way I articulate myself, I might not be getting let in. They might not understand me. But if someone else that's better, more experienced, articulate themselves, so they will understand that quicker. Like, everyone has their power network and they have their skill. And it's not about learning all the skills in the book. It's about finding what you're good at,
right, 100%.
And mastering it and working as a team.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. The key word is team.
Yes,
teamwork. You know, there's no I in team.
No, none of that.
No, teamwork. And, you know, I just want to quickly go back to when I said, you know, when, you know, starting up Khady Stream CRC, when you started to approach organisations and say, look, this is what we're about, did you find yourself facing a lot of closed doors initially?
Yeah, I feel like, because what we're doing is called a crime prevention workshop, and they've heard millions. They're probably like thousands out there that are doing it. You know what I'm saying? Come in, you want to talk to school kids, you want to do that, get funding, so on and so on. So a lot of the time, I feel like they will say no. A lot of the time, they'll say, yeah, mate, drop us an email, we'll get back to you. That never happens. You chase them up, that never happens. And that's when I actually started to change my way of thinking. And I feel like this world is not too far from the life of the street. On this life on the street, if you'd want something, you're not always going to keep asking. You're going to do it and eventually believe in yourself that they will come to you. So that's why at the start it was a bit difficult for people to understand. But when they started seeing the content and the consistency and the passion, they started understanding, wait, he might be onto something. And it's not about me being onto something, because I know I can't do this by myself. It's just about connecting and being together and making the people that are in the strongest point stronger. They might have, that organisation might be better at working police stations. They might have better at getting funding. And Khady Dream might just be an expert at delivering workshops, but we can still connect. And when I'm trying to tell organisations, it's like, yeah, mate, just drop us an email or we'll see where you fit in. But one thing I said I'm going to stand on is I will never chase organisations around or just beg for it or demand them to partnerships. No. I feel like because of...
Sorry, you just made me like we just beg for it. Sorry.
I'm not gonna do that, because I feel like we're building. One thing is, it's also about my self-respect and the brand's self-respect.
100%.
I can't, if you understand what I'm trying to do, you understand it. You might not hear it now. You might not hear it in the next year. You're going to hear it soon enough, because nothing's going to stop us, because it's more than ever is needed now. So I'm going to ask you, make the connection once. If you feel like you're too busy or you don't want to hear it, fair enough. We will keep going. We'll keep stronging. We are working for a lot of young people. The creativities, the way we think outside the box, it's no other organisations. Just a minute ago, we did a workshop. They asked, how was you able to keep 26 young kids in a position that young kids have ages The people that were in that class had ADHD, they were fidgety, they get bored quickly. How was you able to engage them for 90 minutes? Not one of them left that room. And this is a college, they don't have to be in that room. Half of them would have left already if they said that. It's like we think outside the box because we live there and we also know what needs to be done in the workshops. So I feel like, yeah, a lot of the time they're very slow. And I do get that because it's like, it's a new kid on the block. It's a new organisation. When it's new, it's a bit like, what's he doing?
Looking at you like this. Like,
what's he really trying to do that we ain't seen before? Like, and quickly, I know what I'm doing. I believe in what I'm doing. I believe in the organisation. And it's quickly about, at the end of the day, respecting the belief and respecting what I can see it turning into. And it's now I'm getting more talks. I'm still getting more conversation. I think that's a great idea. But it's just about getting it. How much do you actually care?
And that's the key thing.
That's how the key thing. Are you just doing this is because of your job description, or are you something that you're actually gonna get 5 young people and pick on them like, yo, you need to get this. Hello, no, we're not dropping your email. This is the time and date we need you. Please, can you be there? And that's the difference.
And that's it. Consistency.
Consistency.
And that's what I've seen from what I met you before in our last interview. The consistency. I've checked out your website before I've met you. I've seen your social media, the profile.
Yeah.
And you're a very humble young man. Yeah. And I have to tell people, you're very humble. You're passionate and you're humble. You mean what you say. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And you do what you say. And the fact you've just said that all these young people sat still 90 minutes. And people think, oh gosh, no, it's because you understand. You're speaking a language that they can relate to.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I always believe that, yes, the old are wise.
Yes.
Okay. And I believe in intergenerational conversations as well. And you can't have, it takes a village to raise a child.
100%.
Right? And that village is not made up of one age group. It's several age groups. Male, female, girl, boy. Yeah? And if you can't go and talk to someone you can relate to, who are you going to talk to?
100%.
And that's the thing. A lot of people stop talking. They've stopped talking. And when you stop talking, right, once the communication is broken, communication's broken. Communication's broken, and then it starts spiraling downwards. So, so you've opened the window for communication.
100%.
And people are talking all over social media are talking for the right reasons, and it's all positive. Networking. People want to help. People want to help the young people, and the young people want help.
100%.
And parents want help.
And I feel like, just to put out there, I know I started Khady's Dream based on my lived experience, but it's not all about me. No. I feel like every person that's been in the criminal justice system, they can deliver the workshops in their own story and tell them in different part of it. So I don't want people to think that Khady's Dream is just about me and it's about how many schools I could get. It's a bigger organisation. We have bigger plans. As our philosophy is creating an ecosystem of support services. That means that we're willing to partnership with whatever makes sense and connect with whoever makes sense. Just how the same way how youth offenders team and probation have different partners. When they get young people, they know who to refer to. That's what we're trying to be, just a hub of partnership. Everyone that's at risk, we're not going to wait till they get arrested, not wait until they have to get contact with probation. That's not making sense.
But you know what, Kevin? Yeah. Right? You say it's not about you, but you started this organisation.
Thank you.
So receive credit where credit's due. Right? And we thank you so much for your passion. Young people, you're saving those workshops. You've saved a lot of young people from going down the wrong path, and that's what I believe. And you do go back. You said to me before that you do go back to the workshops to find out how the young people are getting on. There's accountability, which is what is needed. And I'm looking forward to another podcast in the future, man.
Thank you.
To see how you're getting on, and it's brilliant. And hope to get you back to talk to and get some more people in to talk with you.
100%.
But Kevin, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome.